Hello everyone, George Packard Family Lawn and Landscape, and today we're going to talk about meddling children and nosy neighbors. Yeah, let's talk about the children first. So, meddling children. They think they're helping their parents out, but a lot of the time they're just getting in the way. So, here's some examples. I'm going to give you the first one. So, I'm weed whipping around this one property one day, and this lady has a son who's in California, and he came to visit, and she wanted the property looking really nice because her son was coming up and whatnot. So I had done the shrubs and everything ahead of time and made it look really nice for her. Okay, so it was important to her. Lady was just turning 90 years old, just a sweet gal. Anyway, so I happened to be there. It was my day to mow the lawn, and so we had some rain earlier in the week, and I ended up having to come there on a Saturday to mow. And she's fine with that, no problem at all. And the guy comes out and he's watching me and watching me and watching me. Pretty soon he comes up to me and I shut off my trimmer and he says to me, "You know, you need to get farther underneath that deck, and you need to get them weeds way under there." And I'm like, "Well, my trimmer doesn't go that far, and I can't reach that far under there to get those." He's like, "Well, then you need to spray that." I said, "Well, Eunice doesn't pay me for spraying those things, so no, I don't need to do that." So he had a fit about that, and "Oh, well, I'm from California, and where we do it there, and we don't have any weeds, and blah, 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 blah." Like I give a shit. You know what I mean? But whatever, that's his thing. So that's my first example of this meddling child. And actually, and the lady come out of the house as him and I began to argue, and she got upset about it. She got upset about that, and here all she wanted to do was make the place look very nice for her son that was coming, and we're out there just doing our job as usual, and she was just fine with our job. He gets there, he's not fine with it. He wants you on your hands and knees under there pulling weeds. I don't know how rich and mighty, high and mighty this prick thought he was, but he found out he wasn't so high and mighty. But anyway, that's just one example. So then, next example, Paver Patio construction. So I go out to this place, and this was a big paver patio. So I had been to that property, I bet you, a half a dozen times. There were several sections. There were some raised sections and then some lowered sections that had to be dug into the ground. And anyway, trees removed, all kinds of things, trees and roots and all that kind of stuff to make this all happen. Fire pit, the whole 9 yards. A very beautiful patio. So, like I say, I was out there half a dozen times, and lo and behold, I get the contract, I get it all set up. 1 week before I'm supposed to start on this project, I get a call, and it's not from the owner, it's from the owner's son. And the owner's son thinks I'm charging too much to put the patio in. Well, here's the deal, prick. You're meddling where you don't belong to be meddling, okay? But, of course, I don't say that to him. I'm just trying to find a way to smooth this over with him. It's basically none of his frickin' business, period. Okay, this is between me and his father. This has nothing to do with him. All right, so, and what the going rate is here may not be the same as where it's at where you are. See, he was from a bigger city where there's way more competition, so guys have to beat their price down to nothing, and they got to do it for next to nothing to try and scratch by for a living. I don't have to do that here, okay? This is my price. If you want me to do the work, that's what it's going to be. Who thinks they can call you up and Jew the price down on you? And we had this big argument and blow up over it, and the father got so upset at us arguing that he canceled the whole project. That meddling piece of shit. You know what I mean? I mean, that meddling child. That's what I meant to say, yeah, the child. So, anyway, that's another example. Another example. We got a call from this one lady that, get this, we gave her the price for the mowing. The lady was fine. She's a sweet little old lady. She was wonderful. I met her myself. I did the estimate myself. And I get a call from her daughter. And we had already started mowing. We mowed her for probably 2 months. And I get a call from her daughter, and she says, "You guys are charging too much to mow that." Again, you just shake your head like, do you have a lawn care business? Do you know what the pricing is? What are you saying? What are you talking about here? You know, who makes up the prices? It's not up to you to make up the price what I should charge. I will make up the price for what I'm going to charge. Not you, me. You meddling person. Go back. Stay the fuck out of it. Leave your parents alone. They can make their own decisions, for Christ's sakes. Anyway, let's see. Then, you gotta love this one. I drove, oh God, this thing is like a 50-minute drive up into the lake country up here north of us in Wisconsin. And I got up there and I did this estimate with this guy, and he was one of those guys that's a talker. And he talks, and he talks, and he talks, you know. And the next thing you know, you're there for a half a day. You got a half a day tied up with this guy. I mean, yeah, I had lunch with this guy. I sat there and had lunch because he talked so much, you know. Oh, come on in the house. I mean, he was a wonderful guy, wonderful guy. Get done with everything. You go back home. You have the contract signed. First thing in the morning, I get a call from this guy. And he calls up and he says, well, my kid said that that's too much money. You know what I think of? When I think of that, especially elderly people that really want to make their place look nice and beautiful and all that, I think the kids are just trying to keep their parents from spending that money, so that's more money for them. So when mom and dad kick off, that's more money for them. That's what I think. So leave me your comments on that down below. I'd be interested to hear. All right, so here's the idea. After all is said and done, after all this, with all these meddling siblings, here's an idea. Why don't you guys fucking do it yourselves? If you care so much about your parents' property, why don't you come up here and take care of it yourselves? Oh, you guys don't care that much. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not coming up there to do that. Oh, hell no, no. Let's just forget I even had this phone call with you. Yeah, you go ahead. You boys take care of that. That's the kind of crap that I'm talking about. So anyway, that's the meddling children part of it. So, this has been George Packard with Family Lawn and Landscape. Let me hear your stories down below. I'd love to hear them, and don't forget to subscribe.